For more on President Xi Jinping's visit to Latin America, we're now joined in the studio by Mr. Yang Xiyu, a senior fellow from the China Institute of International Studies. Good evening, Mr. Yang. Let's look at President Xi's Latin America trip. It is consistent for China's policy to embrace the rest of the world, especially trade relations. China is seeking to engage with Latin America. But on the other hand, let's look at the U.S. It seems with the new president-elect sworn into office, America is turning inward. It is drawing back from TPP, probably NAFTA, and even WTO. What do you make of the different attitude towards trade and investment in the world?
Well, now the process, the course of free trade investment all around the world is facing severe challenges, primarily from the United States and other developed countries. And by this APEC summit and other visits to the three Latin American countries, China sent a very strong and very clear signal for continuity of the free trade and investment, while the whole world is facing huge uncertainties from the United States because of the newly elected president regarding the trade agreement. So now, certainty and uncertainty across the Pacific. China's purpose is very clear: say, continue the enlargement and enhancement of free trade and investment for shared prosperity among countries, including the United States. So I think mainly vehicle for China's plan lies in the RCEP and FTA-AP. Just like President Xi Jinping stated, FTA-AP is quite vital for the sustainable prosperities across the region. So I believe after the visit with the Latin American countries and the APEC summit, China will input more momentum for the process building up the RCEP and the FTA-AP.
You said there is momentum there, but what are the difficulties of reaching a wide-ranging trade agreement around the Pacific while the U.S. is drawing back from trade deals?
Well, basically, the obstacle is a very critical question to every member of this APEC, as well as for all members of surrounding the rim of the Pacific. Basically, two categories of obstacles. Number one, the diversities of economic development. So big gap between the most advanced countries like the United States, the largest countries like China in terms of population, or the very poor level of small economies, all the members. So the diversities is really an obstacle for the complicated cooperations among the quite different members.
But will China's leadership make a difference?
Well, I think China can play basically two kind of roles. Number one, leading role. That's not the same meaning of leadership. So the so-called leading role means China can make a proposal to persuade, to encourage, based on the shared interests, not based on the individual countries' interests. So secondly, China can play a mediator role. Say, China has a very specific position with a good relationship with almost every nation, including the United States. So China can talk to every nation. So based on such a status quo, China can play a greater role as a mediator to mediate all different countries for the common goal of free trade and investment.
If the U.S. seriously turns to protectionist and isolationist streaks, what kind of economic relationship between the number one economy, the U.S., and number two, China, be looking like?
Yeah, it's a really critical question. The common knowledge is if two military giants fall in war, that will be disaster. By the same token, if two economic giants fall in trade war, that will be disaster too. Not only for both of the giants, but also for everyone related. So basically, I'm confident, China is confident that this serious trade war between China and the U.S. cannot be happened, simply because the economic ties between the two giants has been too close to fall in war. Whenever between the two economies, whenever one of the two decide to hate the others, at the meantime they will hate themselves either. Simply because of the integration of the U.S. and China economies. So basically, I think on one hand, the U.S. protectionism-oriented administration will launch more and more trade disputes with China, just like they did with EU and Japan several decades ago. So China now replaces EU and Japan as a largest trading partner. So China has to suffer from that. But on the other hand, the disputes or trade war room, it will be very, very limited because it's too big to fall. And
so when reality kicks in, a full-scale trade war is very unlikely.
No.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yang.